and a warm welcome to this week's Camino Talk Show. This is a show where we talk to real pilgrims about their experience on the Camino. And that comes with the good, the bad and the damn ugly. This week's guest is Jason Edwards, but we all know him as Bubba to our friends and to his friends. Bubba has an extraordinary adventure which includes blisters that were the size of apples and having to cowboy camp on the Pyrenees, which he's going to tell us all about shortly. He completely lost his way, I believe. His whole journey from the start has just been one of amazement, and his true Camino started when he got home, so I believe. So welcome, Pilgrim. How are you doing today?
I'm good, ma'am. Thank you for having me. I appreciate being able to do this and get the word out about how great of a trip this is.
It is. I mean, you're just glowing just thinking about it. I can see that.
I got chill bumps. I do. I got chill bumps. It's every day I wake up, I think about this trip.
Do you? And you've booked again to go again, haven't you? You're going again next year?
Yeah, I'm going to go in July. I'm leaving. We'll probably fly out July 1st. Hopefully, we'll start walking on the 2nd if everything goes correct. So that's the flight and train and everything else to get there. So, and we'll be doing the French way again. So.
Cool. So let's first just tell everybody where you're from and when you actually walked the French way before.
I am from Virginia, in the United States, obviously. We're right outside D.C. We're in a town called Manassas, which, if you're a historian, you know that's the first battle of our American Civil War was fought here. I left on October 15th. That's when I flew out, and I started walking October 16th. So today is what, the 19th? So 2 years ago today, I was in Pamplona.
Cool.
I had my first Camino cry today 2 years ago. So and everyone has a Camino cry at some point, either at the end or at some point in the middle. But I had my first one on October 20th. I'll never forget it. So
right. You got to tell that story now. You can't say that and not say the story.
Well, I'd gotten to Pamplona late. Well, I shouldn't say late. I stayed in a hostel outside of Pamplona, and the guy, there was just me and one other person, and he was snoring. It just... So I got up at like 4 or 5 in the morning and said, the heck with this, I'm walking. So I just started walking. I was still on sleep, like the time change and all that. So I just started walking. I got to Pamplona, and you know how it's got the parks on top of the walls?
Yeah.
So I climbed up on one, and I sat in a park bench. I slept for a few minutes, and I got up. I was cold. It was the first time I felt cold run up my spine. I was so cold. But then the sun started coming up, and I'm watching this beautiful pink, purple sunrise, and I just started crying. I was like, God, this is so beautiful. Like, this is for me. It's so cliche. This is so cliche. There was a woman behind me cutting roses at a hotel. Like, there's a hotel there, and I'm watching this woman cut roses, and she's not even noticing this. She's not even noticing this 300-pound man just bawling. And I was thinking, I said, when I get back, I can't cut the flowers. I got to look around and see what's going on because there's beauty every day. She sees the sunrise, obviously, every day and doesn't realize it. And it was funny, a woman walking her dog, and I can't speak a lick of Spanish. So a woman's walking her dog, and she sees me, and she starts talking to me, and I was like, I don't know. And she hugged me and just walked on. Like, it's like no big deal. I was like, I get it. Like, I did, but I cried. Oh, I cried. And then later, I guess it was like 6 or 7 days later, someone said, have you had your Camino cry? And I was like, oh, yes. Yes, I have. So it didn't even, that thought didn't even come to me. I had 3 more after that. Obviously, at the end, I cried like a little baby, but it was just moments of beauty. And it was never crying for pain or anger. It was just beauty. It really is a beautiful thing. When I tell that story to people, they go, why didn't you take a picture of that sunset or that sunrise? Like, that was mine. Yeah, I remember it. That's not yours.
In here. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I think about it all the time.
Okay, so I mean that's just an amazing story, but your story didn't actually start there. How did you hear about the Camino? Can you remember that?
Oh yeah, I was teaching school. I'm a history teacher.
Do you know, now you said that, I remember all along our trek, when we only walked with you for, a week or so, we were all getting history lessons and politics lessons along the way. So.
Well, I was a history major, and I took a course in medieval times. and they talked about the three pilgrims, to Jerusalem, to Rome, and then to Santiago. And I thought, man, wouldn't that be great to complete all three of those? So, I'm a young, 19, 20-year-old kid at that time. And then, then I did a little research and found out really the only one you can do now is the Camino. You could walk the other ones, but it's not set up the way the Camino is. So then I put it in the back of my head for years. It just sat there. And then I watched The Way with Emilio Estevez and Martin Sheen, and it came back. And I started telling my wife at the time, I'm going to do this. And then, unfortunately, we divorced. And she came to me and said, hey, I want a divorce. And the first thing I said was, okay, but I'm going to walk the Camino. Like, I got to go do it. If I got to put this behind me. Because I knew that I needed to get out of my comfort zone to get over it, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, okay. I understand that.
Yeah, and I didn't do a lot of research before I left. So
okay.
I didn't know.
You didn't know what it was about. So when you say you didn't do a lot of research, did you not know about things like hostels and
I knew I'd be staying in hostels. I chose not to do any historic, because when I go to a foreign country, I always read a history book about the country. Okay. Spain, I hadn't been there yet. And I said, you know what? I'm not going to read anything. I'm just going to go. I'm just going to experience it. I knew I needed what I needed to bring. I knew how much it was going to cost me. I bought a guidebook, but I refused to open it until I got there.
Oh, really?
Wow. So I went blind. I really and truly went blind. And, I just showed up and did it. And it's funny because...
Sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was going to ask, have you ever done anything like that on your own before, as in travelling? Or
No. Okay. Traveling, I had family that lived in Brussels. So I would go to Brussels, and I would do the American tourist thing. We're going to drive, we're going to eat your food, drink your beer, be loud, that kind of stuff. But as of walking, no. 2 miles would probably be the max I would ever walk in my life prior to this. And the only reason I say that is because when I played college football, we ran 2 miles. So okay. No, I chose something. I didn't know the language. I knew that I'd never walked 15 miles in a day before that. Never. And I chose all that because I wanted out of my comfort zone. I wanted to be miserable, but then have to get up every day being miserable and keep going. And man, it helped me.
Was you miserable?
When I say miserable, hurting, like pain, the soreness, the blisters. I mean, I got a blister that was...
I remember.
That it was huge. It was huge. And I would pop it, and I'd have to put thread through it every day. But I didn't stop. I just kept walking and then it filled right up. So... It is what it is.
I just remember those blisters, and it was like, how on earth you just kept going? I have no idea.
Well, I get a thing called gout, which is when you drink too much beer. And I get it. The last 20 kilometers, I had a gout attack in my foot, and one guy offered me a taxi. He's like, "I'll buy you a taxi," and I'm walking the last 20 kilometers. It's like, you're crazy. Like, you chop my leg off at this point, and I'm going to crawl the last 20 kilometers to finish this thing. So, it's I always equate it to Lazarus in the Bible. So Jesus said, "Rise, Lazarus, and walk." And that's what the Camino teaches you. No matter how depressed you are, no matter how upset, no matter how much it hurts, you got to get up the next day and you got to walk, and you got to keep moving. And I think that's the gift of the Camino is no matter how crappy life gets, get up. You got to get up. You got to move.
And keep walking.
You got to walk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's such to me. I love that. So, okay, so you did the French route. Talk to us. Tell us. I know the story about the first day on the Camino when you got a little bit lost. Is that right?
I wouldn't say lost. What I would say is I procrastinated. So I got up. I got to Pierre Paul at night. So it was 10 o'clock at night, 11 o'clock at night. I went straight to bed. I woke up, and I go to the Pilgrim office, and then I'll kind of walk around, look at the town, and I don't get leaving till late. And you walked with me. I walk slow. Like I'm in no hurry. And So I'm walking and I'm smoking cigars and I'm having a good time. I'm talking to people. Well, people stopped passing me at some point. I mean, I think everyone who had passed me is gone. And I'm starting to hurt. I didn't know that it was, like I said, I didn't open that book. I didn't know it was, 20 miles, something like that, across the Pyrenees.
Yeah, it was a long day that first day.
Yeah, so I went 20 miles, 6,000 feet up and over. I had no clue. And we don't have mountains like that here. We have the Appalachians, but they're not, there's nothing I could have trained to prepare me for that. So I'll never forget, I got to the top and I wanted to quit. I sat down, I cried. I didn't cry because that wasn't my first cry. What I would say I was so mad at myself for doing this. So what am I doing? My pack was killing me, and a guy from Germany comes by, and he's like, "You can't stay here. Like, you can't sleep here. I mean, the sun's getting ready to go down." And I was like, "No, I can make it. I can make it." No, you got to go. Now they didn't have their packs. I didn't know you could send your pack forward. I was like, "Oh, this is novel." So I said, "Okay, I'll go with you." They kept waiting for me, but I was hurt. I mean, hurting. And I would walk a little bit, and I would stop, walk a little bit, stop. And I said, "Look, go on. I promise you I'll come down the mountain. I promise. Wholeheartedly, I'll come down." So I get off the mountain. It's pitch dark. I can't even see the yellow arrows at this point. It's dark. I get to a gate. And where I'm from, you don't open anyone's gate. I mean, I live in America. I live in Virginia. They'll shoot you for that. So I look at this gate. I can see a house, and I was like, God, I don't know what to do. What do I do? What I did, I threw my bedroll out, and I slept right on the ground. I could hear the water running. I could hear it, but I didn't know. So I woke up 6 hours later. I mean, as soon as I hit the ground, I was out, sound asleep. I woke up. I was probably not even 3 feet from rolling into a creek. I didn't know. And it's the one that runs right up Orson. So
I know. So you weren't that far away.
Oh, I opened the gate. I walk in 100 yards. There's the hostel.
No way.
Yeah. So I sat on the bench outside Orson, and I turned on the water. I took a little bit of a bath. I changed clothes, and I was butt naked in front of Orson, and no one's up. No one's there. No one sees me. But I was right there. So I started walking again. And there was a guy I think his name was Evan. He was from Australia, and he catches me the next morning. He's like, "Where were you? We were worried about you." And I'm thinking, you guys weren't too worried because no one came looking for me outside. But I made it. Like I said, it was a good experience for me because I learned at that point, don't think your American mindset here. It's not the same. Open the gate, go through. It's part of the trail. Just enjoy it and go on.
Lesson learned.
But I ended up sleeping outside 2 more nights. And the one night I told the story at Pamplona, that was the last time I did it. I was like, I'm not sleeping outside. I'm not napping or anything. I'll be in hostels.
October must have been freezing.
I was cold, Julie. I mean, cold in Pamplona. Now, it wasn't that bad in the
Pyrenees.
Off the map, on the Pyrenees, I wasn't that bad. Now, come to find out, 2 weeks later, a man and 2 men slept up there. One died on top of the mountain, and it was it was like whoa.
That could have been you.
Yeah, but I don't. I look back on it, and I don't know what they had. What did they have? Because I had a great sleeping bag. I had a warm piece. I had a cover at that time, and I threw a lot of that stuff out though.
Did you? Okay, well let's talk about that. How much stuff was you carrying? And
I had a 60-pound pack.
I remember your pack was huge.
It was huge.
Yeah.
It was huge when it started, and I'll never forget it. I walked into the Pilgrim's office, and it was an Irishman, and he weighs it, and he goes, "Sue, this is heavy. You can make it, but it's gonna be hard." And I was like, I got this. So after I slept outside, I walked a little bit. I started throwing stuff out. I had 3 books. I threw them out. I threw out a pair of tennis shoes, which I regretted later.
Okay.
I regretted throwing out the tennis shoes. They were a brand new pair of New Balance. I didn't know I could mail anything forward. So I threw out cologne. I threw out, gosh, what else? I had 2 first aid kits. I threw one out. So yeah, it was a mess. So, and I just left it all on a park bench. So I really hope some homeless person got a new pair of shoes, got a couple of books to read, something. But I didn't know. I just left it there. So I got my pack down. I think I was about 45 pounds. But then I was carrying 60 some cigars. I smoked 62 cigars in 3 weeks. Then I started having to buy them. It was funny. I was at one point, I was smoking a cigar outside a hostel, and a German guy comes up to me and he looks at me real serious. And he goes, "I've been following you." I was like, "Excuse me?" He said, "I've been finding your cigar butts all over the Camino." I was like, "Oh, I got you. Want one?" He didn't take one. So, but yeah, it was. I had, like I said, I had too much stuff, and I didn't. My clothes are already big because I'm a big guy, but I think the next time I'll only take 3 pairs of clothes. I had 4 pairs this time. I'll cut a pair down. I only need 3.
Yeah, I only took 2.
So. Oh, you did?
Well, two to wear and then 1 to sleep in.
That's what I'm saying. I would have 3. I would have 2 to wear and 1. I'm just going to sleep in my underwear. The whole, just go with it. But 1 to wear, 2 in the sack. So 1 will go dirty and then I'll clean. But I started, this is a great Camino trick. And Pierre, you remember Pierre?
Yeah, I do, yeah.
Has he been on this show yet?
Not yet, no. I'll contact him, but I've forgotten about Pierre.
Oh,
but
he is
let me write that down so I don't forget. Okay.
He told me to start showering. Wear your clothes into the shower. So I would do this. I would get in the shower with my clothes. I'd wash them off, and then I would take them off and shower, and then I'd take them and hang them up, and then I'd go like a route of that before I'd wash them. So if I smelt bad on you, that was part of the reason. So you can blame Pierre for that.
Cool. So, folks, if you're listening out there, that's a really good tip. In fact, you're giving loads of tips today. So, this show really is for, at the end of the day, it's for people that have not walked the Camino yet or are thinking about walking it. And, you can read all the guidebooks, whatever everyone says, but you can't really get the true value of it until you actually speak to people who've walked it. So, yeah, don't go in October and sleep outside.
No, it's not.
Don't carry a 45-pound pack.
Yeah, no.
Read books on your phone. Don't take books. Certainly not 3 books. That's crazy.
No, it was ridiculous. Because I'm a reader, and I was like, oh, y'all have this downtime. There's no downtime to read. There's really not. The only thing I would do differently is I would write more. And I know this next trip I'm going to log the whole thing as writing. Good. Because I would like to one day turn it into something I can give to my son that, hey, this was our trip.
Yeah.
So
I did exactly the same. Brilliant.
Yeah.
I do like doing my blog. So talk to me about the food. What did you think to the food?
Oh, it's the best part. It was the best. Yeah, it was the best part. So every time I hear someone's going to Spain, I try to convince them to bring me jamon back. I'd never had jamon.
What's that?
You didn't the ham?
Cheese.
No, the
sorry.
ham.
So as in, we say it different.
How do you say it?
Jamon.
Yeah, that's what
Whatever.
I said.
Yeah, that's like the bacon, the big ham.
Yes, I love that stuff. It's not, we can get prosciutto in the States, but we can't get that. Okay. We can't get jamon. It's like, for some reason, our country doesn't allow it. And if you do, you got to pay. It's outrageous. So, oh my God, this stuff's so good. I ate some Korean food that I'd never eaten before when the Koreans would cook. Because, there's a lot of South Koreans walking.
Yeah, there is.
So anytime they would cook, I would try to get in with them. Like, oh, hey, what are we having? I had a birthday meal that was sticky rice with an egg on top. That was out of this world delicious. Oh, it was so good.
I must admit, that's something everyone talks about, is like the Spanish food. But there are a lot of groups. Like we had some Indian guys who just cooked a load of Indian food. And it was just to die for. Yeah, it was like things I didn't even know what I was eating, but it was amazing.
One thing I was really disappointed with, I never cooked for anyone. And I said this time when I go, I'm going to make some sort of American dish, like biscuits and gravy or some sort of beans dish that we do. But because we have good Southern food, I never cooked. What I always did was I always purchased groceries or clean. And this is the best advice I could give you. Find a group of people, talk to them before you leave. Like, hey, who's cooking? Who's doing? Like, I'll go do the shopping if you'll cook or you clean. And man, you can eat some really good food. I think about the Italians that we walked with.
Yeah.
They made us a meal that was out of this world good spaghetti, you know.
I've just come back from the English route, and we was part of our Camino family was an Italian called Alberto, and he cooked like 3 days on the trot. But it's the best carbonara I've ever tasted. It was just to die for. It was amazing.
Did he do the egg? Did he do the egg on top?
Yeah. How? I mean, it's just.
So in America, when we serve carbonara, we can't give a raw egg. Like that's against our code. Our what do you call it? Anyway, they don't give us the raw egg. Breaks my heart because once you've had real carbonara, it's hard to go back to the bad stuff. Now I ate a lot of carbonara on the way in Spain. And there's some horrible carbonara in Spain. And there's some good, but there's a lot of bad. The other one was the, what was the rice dish? The plate of rice.
Like paella.
Yeah, I ate a lot of that too. You ate a lot of that.
You got to like paella. And tortilla with the, like the omelette, potato omelette.
Oh yeah, those are so good, aren't they? I liked them. There wasn't much I didn't like though. And that's, I was telling my son that the other day. That's one thing I'm excited about is to eat the food. Like, I ate grapes. I was taking grapes from the Rejos Valley. Yeah, I was just bagging them up and eating grapes. At one point, I picked up walnuts. What I was disappointed was the blackberries. When you walk, the blackberries had gone bad. Okay. If I would have been 2 weeks before, there's plenty of blackberries. I mean, just picking them and eating them, and oh, it's so good. Yeah, that's the other thing I would tell people. If you see food on the side of the road growing on a tree, grab it. No one cares.
No,
the Spanish do not care. They do not care.
It's there in abundance as well, isn't it? You can just sort of feast as you go.
I know you go into towns, you see those apple trees. You can just go pick apples, and no one shot at me, so I felt pretty good about it. You know, don't do that in southwestern Virginia. We don't tolerate that. So.
Did you lose any weight? You don't have to answer that if you don't want to.
Oh, no, I don't. I lost 80 pounds.
80 pounds?
80 pounds.
80?
80, absolutely I did. Now, you got to keep in mind, I was big. I was at 360, and I dropped to 280 by the time I got to Santiago. So my pants were falling.
I was going to say that. What about your clothes? Did you?
Well, they were. I brought the tie string pants. Okay. So I was fine. Yeah, I was fine with it. Yeah, I mean, but you see pictures of me, like when I was walking, you could just see it like slowly going off. Yeah. But I lost it real quick. But I did a whole physical before I left to make sure I was healthy enough to do it because I was big. I mean, you saw me. I'm a big guy. Like I'm always going to be a big guy. But yeah, I lost 80 pounds. I put it all back on though.
So have you?
I drink too much Dr. Pepper.
So was you more of a beer drinker or did you enjoy the wine or?
Oh, both. I love wine. I love wine though, and I drink a lot of wine.
Are you a Blanco or a Tinto? So red
Blanco.
or white?
Red, Blanco. I've now we would buy bottles in Spain. I would take pictures of them. I would come back here and I get my wine store to order them. So it would be like €4 there for that bottle. It's like $26, $27 here.
Oh, it's so cheap.
Do you know get that wine?
A bottle of water is more expensive over there than a bottle of wine.
I didn't drink much water. I got to be honest with you. There were days though where I got drunk midday.
Drunk?
You know, I got drunk. There were days, and then I had to keep walking. But I would walk into a house or a cafe, and if you buy somebody a beer the day before, they're going to buy you one when they see you. So the next day I'd walk in, hey, we have you a beer. So I'd drink a beer and I thought, God, that tastes good. Drink another one, drink another one, drink another one. And then walk to another place. It'd be somebody else. Come on in, you know, and then next thing you know, I'm drunk. So,
I must admit, I remember sometimes you were like well gone before any of us got up.
Yeah, well, because I walked so slow. And what I always tried to do was I always tried to see where everyone else was going. Okay, so like say, hey, we're going to go to this town and stay. I knew that if I had to walk 12 miles, 15 miles, I knew I was going to have to get up early. So I'd always try to get up and start walking. You guys would pass me at some point,
yeah.
You know?
Bless you.
Most times, yeah, but I always showed up where I was supposed to be. There were days where if someone on the Camino tells you it's 4 kilometers away, it's not. It's 8 to 9. And don't believe them. Just keep walking. So
and the sign's always wrong as well. It says, "Oh, the bar is only 2 kilometers," and they lie.
No, that was to keep you going. Is all that is. So.
And how did you find the hostels and sleeping with other people? As in, it
never bothered. Yeah, it never fazed me. No. The weirdest thing for me is, because we don't do this in America, the separate bathrooms. Like, we have completely separate. Our Puritan ways won't allow us to use the bathroom with a woman in the room with us. Okay. So that was odd for an American. That was odd, but I didn't care. It is what it is.
Yeah, the Europeans are quite open to when it comes to the sex side of things as well.
Yeah.
In fact, that's just reminded me of a story with you with the vending machines.
Oh yeah,
do you remember that?
Yeah, I don't forget that. I tell people that, like, you guys are so open. You got sex toys in your vending machine. Like, what is that? Like, so we have to, like, here we hide all that. Like, Americans, we're weird like that. It's you damn Puritans from England. You guys are the reason for this. I believe this, but we hide all that, and it is what it is. There's no way around it. It happens. Pornhub's the #1 site in the United States, so I don't know why we try to hide it. It's odd. It's our odd thing.
We're all sitting outside this bar, and we're all having a nice quiet coffee, including Rachel sitting with me, and then we hear this absolutely really loud roar of laughter. And it's you going, "I can't believe these Europeans," and you was just roaring. And we all got up to come and have a look and see what you were looking at. And it was the vending machines that were selling all sorts of things. My goal on that is I always try. I'm American through and through, but we have such bad raps, like we're shitty tourists is what people think. But I always try to change that on people's mind that we're not, We're self-absorbed, yeah, but come on, we're good folk, you know. Absolutely.
Don't judge it. Don't judge us by our president.
I think that was happening when we was out there as well.
Oh, it was amazing.
Yeah. Oh,
it was amazing. For 3 days before the election and 3 days after, that was all people would speak to me about.
Yeah.
Because I had an American flag on my a patch.
Back, yeah.
And, man, that's all people wanted to talk about. And it got to the point that it was like, stop. Like, I didn't vote for the guy. Like, I can't help it. But there was a French guy, and I can't remember his name, who told me Trump would lose. And he told me why. And it was the exact reasons. Like, he was spot on. Like, and that was 3 days before the election. And I was thinking, damn, a French guy knew our politics better than I did. I teach it.
Yeah.
So,
you was adamant that he wasn't going to win. And,
no, I didn't think he would. He did. He sure did.
Yeah, crazy. Anyway, let's get off of politics.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you think that people are sort of called to do the Camino? So
yes.
a lot of people say, if they've heard about it, they feel like they've been called to do it. And there's this, sometimes a lot of people don't just do it once, they do it more than once. Yeah,
I'm going to do it every 3 years now, I think. I'm going to try to. But yes, I think people are called to it. And I'll tell you how crazy it is for me. The school I teach at is green and yellow is our colors.
Okay.
I walked out. I was thinking about this, I guess 3 or 4 weeks ago the Camino's calling. It's getting to be that time when I did it. I walked out of my classroom and someone put a yellow arrow in tape outside. I can take a picture. I was still there. It was outside. I said, you know what? I got to go walk the Camino. So, and I really do. I think people are called to it. I'm not real religious, not at all, but there's something about it. There's something about it. And someone told me that, and this is what I can't wait to experience. They said, you can walk the Camino every so often, and only 2 things will change. The people you walk with and yourself. Nothing else will change. It'll still be the same. But the most exciting part of the Camino is the people you meet and the change that you experience. So I was like, God, yeah, I gotta go see if this is true, because I feel like I'm closer with people I walked on the Camino than I am with people in my everyday life, because we experience something, and I'm sure you do too. Like, think about all the nice people you've met, and if they called you and said, "Could I come stay with you?" You'd say, "Yes, absolutely, no doubt." And there's people every day that you'd say, "You're not staying at my house." No, and and I don't know. It's wild. It really is. And then when you find other people that have walked it, just the experience, just immediately how you can come together and you can start talking. Yeah, just immediately.
It's like-minded people. That's what it is.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
You've experienced something so unique that you can't really explain it to people that haven't walked it.
Yeah. So, did you suffer from pilgrim sickness?
Like the Pilgrim blues?
Yes.
Yeah, probably not as much as Julie did, I think, the first time. She was going through a bit of not a crisis, but she was going through a real change. She went and got drumming lessons. She got a tattoo.
Oh, so she was a crisis. She was going through midlife.
Yeah, but I certainly did. But I feel like I need to go at least once a year just to press that reset button.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Do you know what I mean?
That. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I was told 2 weeks before I finished, the guy was like, "Hey, look, you're enjoying this way too much. Like, you're going to go through a depression." And he called it pilgrim sickness.
Okay.
And I did. Man, when I got back to Santiago from Finisterre, everybody was gone. Like, there was no one I knew from the trail. I did. I didn't want to come home. Like, I was like, wow. I totally just wanted to start walking back to Pierre Paul. Like, I just wanted to start walking back. And it took me about 3 weeks when I got home, but I didn't really talk about it to many people. So, hey, tell us stories. Yeah, I was like, because I still think I was digesting it. I was just, what did I just do? You know? And then I started thinking more about it. It's like, just set a time and go do it again at some point, and, start walking here. But, God, it was.
What happened? Because obviously you was going through a tough time with your wife as well at the time, which is one of the reasons you went.
Yeah, and it took me about. It's funny, she threw that up to me, like, because I still, I was still argumentative. I was still like, we're going through a divorce. It's not pretty. And she said, you told me you'd take this trip and you'd come back fine, but I hadn't digested. Hadn't digested it, and now it's nothing. Now what I've learned on the Camino, I try to put in my daily life. Like, hey, things are tough. Get up, keep walking. Mind your own business when you need to. Someone doesn't want to talk to you, don't talk to them. If they got their earbuds in, just keep on walking. It's okay. Do
you mind if I say something?
Oh, I loved it. Do you remember singing? Do you remember singing?
I sang a lot.
We were. Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
every time I hear that one song.
Friends in Low Places.
Yeah, and one of your mates sang it as well. And every time I go on the Camino, I have Garth Brooks in my ears, and it just puts a smile on my face.
Well, it's funny. I tell people I was walking in the middle of Spain with two English women. We were singing "Friends in Low Places." Like, you couldn't make that up. Like, and it's such a great. Wasn't that a beautiful day? That's when we went down to the river. We put our feet in the water, and I don't remember the towns. They all merged
into one. But that was one of the best days. I think it certainly was.
It was a good day for me.
That song will always remind me of you.
Well, thank you, and it's same here. You are my friend in low places.
So what I was going to say is, if you don't mind me saying, I've seen you grow since you've come back, especially with your kids and things like that. When I look at your Instagram feed, it's completely different to what it was previously.
You think so?
I think so. And
that's good.
Yeah. I don't know if that's a changing you, but because when I think we first met, I know we was only walking for perhaps 2 weeks, but the first week you was probably a little bit down and not so open and a bit grumpy maybe, but and then I remember you laughing. Someone had made you lunch or evening meal or something like that, and you just started laughing, and from then you just didn't stop laughing. And it was like a little switch went in your head, and then you've just grown and grown since you've got back as well.
I didn't realize that, and this is probably real personal, but I didn't realize how depressed I was from my marriage. I mean, obviously it didn't work. So I was depressed even before she came and said, "I'm leaving." Okay, so I felt like I hadn't laughed, and I do remember starting to laugh. I felt like I'd been years without laughing. And I took this trip and I was miserable. I was lonely. I didn't know what I was doing. And then, like you said, it really was. It was, and I'm there. We were eating dinner, and Camille was there. You were there. And it was a beautiful long table, and
Yeah.
it just became fun. Like I wouldn't say it was. I guess it was old me just came back. I was suffering from anxiety before I went.
Really?
And yeah, I would be up all night long, all night. Now I sleep through the night every night.
Yeah. It certainly is a magical place.
Well, and again, I actually was telling a student the other day, his parents come in, he's got anxiety real bad, I said, hey, go walk the Camino. At least go try it. Because then you realize, like I said, the most important part is get up, keep moving. Get up, keep moving. No matter when you sit down and rest, you got to get up. You got to keep walking. You get drunk at a bar, you got to walk out and keep walking. So it is what it is.
Oh God, right! I've just realised the time we haven't done the quickfire round. So are you up for that? Okay, dum quickfire round. Okay, done. Did you bring anything that you never used? We've already done that as well. Luxury item.
My phone, absolutely my phone.
All right,
that was the only. And I will bring a Bluetooth speaker this next time.
I've not taken one since, and I regretted it every single time I've been back.
Oh, did you bring your Polaroid thing?
Yeah, I take that all the time.
God, I want to get one of those. That's impressive.
That's my luxury item, always. So I do like he's talking about for those of you listening, I've got a little Polaroid zip printer. So I print people's photos out and put them in a book, and it's great.
I forget we're doing this for somebody else. I just feel like we're talking. So sorry.
No, that's cool. Right, sleeping bag or just a sleep sheet?
Sleeping bag, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
Okay. Favourite section of the Camino?
Walking into Galicia. I don't know the name of that place where you go up the mountain and...
It's
beautiful. Yes, beautiful. It reminded me of home. It had rained a few days before we got there. Oh, it's so beautiful. It's the smell.
And the
cows walking down. Yeah, the cows walking down the road. Oh, it was magical. Magical.
Right, did you do much training?
No, not at all. Not at all.
All right, what guidebook did you use? Can you remember?
I used the first one that Amazon offered me. By 3 weeks, I'd lost it. I was just bumming off other people at that point. Where are you going? So
it's quite well waymarked anyway, isn't it? So
yeah. The only thing that I needed it for was where am I going? Like, that was it. I didn't actually read anything in between it. I think if I go back, I'll get a food guide. Like, where's the best places to eat in the town?
Okay.
I think that would be the only difference I would do.
Did you take a head torch?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
I did.
Okay. Just curious if you did.
Well,
because you left quite early in the mornings, most mornings.
And I left it at some point. I left it on a park bench. I'll never forget. I took it off and was hanging out, and I was like, I got to walk. So I just left it sitting on some bench somewhere. Yeah.
Cool. Did you ever use the luggage transfer service?
No. My bag, I wore it. There might have been 3 times that I put some of my stuff in someone else's bag that was being shipped forward, but I carried my pack every day. So that was one thing I told myself early, that I'm not going to use it. When I heard about it, I was like, because part of it was the suffering. I wanted to suffer. I wanted to experience the Pilgrim Way. So.
Okay. And so, do you remember actually walking into Santiago? As in, who did you walk with, and what was that actually? What did that feel like?
Well,
you went to finish there.
I was on a gout attack, and I was limping. So I'm kind of limping in. I walked by myself. I was by myself, and I can't think of his name. It was the old man that we had. Remember we stayed. The old German guy.
Okay.
Is it Abel? No, it was the one where we stuck our feet in the water on top of that winery in. Do you remember the pool?
Yeah, oh, okay. And we got there, and he was playing classical music.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's the man who told me on top of the mountain to get off the mountain. Okay. So I always said, I would tell people he saved my life. He's the first person I saw when I got into the square at Santiago.
Oh, really?
And he was crying, crying, and I started hugging him. I started crying. His daughter sent me because when I posted to my family, I made it. I told the story of him, how he told me to get off that mountain. And I don't, like I said, it's not a religious thing, but that was weird. That was the first person I saw. And when I got there, and it was, it's unbelievable. So, anyways, I posted on Facebook. I tagged him. His daughter sent me a letter that was just beautiful. It was beautiful, just thanking me, and that, my dad was in a bad spot. And he's glad he did. Glad he met you, that kind of stuff. But it was weird because you would go 4 or 5 days without seeing someone, and then all of a sudden you see someone. And then you go 4 or 5 days without seeing them, and then you see them, and it's so much fun.
But then they're like old friends as well, even though you've probably only seen them for like 5 days in total.
Well, it was funny. He was from Cologne. A friend of mine was going to move to Cologne, so I called him up. He hooked her up with a real estate agent, got her all taken care of. Actually took her to dinner twice. And I was like, get out of here. And I can't think of his name. I can see his face, but I can't think of it. Oh, I'll get it when I disconnect. But
cool.
It is what it is.
So you went from Santiago and then you carried on walking. You walked to Finisterre. Did you do Muxia as well, or just Finisterre?
No, just Finisterre. And I got to tell you, I kind of cheated on Finisterre. Okay. I rode the bus to Finisterre.
Most people do, don't they?
I was done at that point, and it poured the rain. A lot of people wanted to go finish at 0. They want to walk. Like, we rode the bus to the hotel, and then Camille and those guys were going to go ahead and walk to the end.
Like the
and it was it was raining so bad they couldn't even do it. So we just took an Uber to the thing. But I tell you what was crazy was I watched Madrid and Real Madrid play, and I'm not a hockey fan or a soccer fan, but we sat in in Finisterre with sailors and watched Madrid and Real Madrid play. It was one of the greatest days. Oh, it was so good. I was high-fiving them. I didn't know what was going on. They were a lot of it. Yeah, so it was a good time.
Brilliant. Okay. Right. I don't know if you got my thing about asking for a quote of the day.
And I thought about this hard, and Pierre told me this.
Okay.
And he said that you will never change unless you feel pain. That you will stay the same unless something happens to you. Because I've explained to him what was happening. He says, you're going to change. Your ex-wife, she's not feeling any pain. She might not change, so you can't worry about it. Okay. Only you can worry about you. And I always think about that. A person will not change until they feel some sort of pain. And then the other one that I thought about, and I'm just going to give them both to you, was when you walked across the Mesa, did you get to that place where the lady lives, where she just gives water and juice and that kind of stuff? Do you know what I'm talking about? Anyways, this lady was there. She's out in the middle of nowhere. She tells me that troubles are like a hurricane. Once you get halfway through it, you'll feel calm. But just know you have to go through another part of the hurricane. Okay. And I was like, God, that makes sense. Like, to me, that made a lot of sense. So, yeah. What's the best quote you've heard? Before you get to the end, you're going to have a calm.
Yeah.
So just know it's not
that. I'm going to write that down. Obviously, I'll put that in the show notes for everyone. I think probably you've just asked. I've had 2 people say very similar quotes so far, and I think one of the best ones is something like, "Live life for the ordinary things that happen in life. Otherwise, you miss the exciting things. Isn't all about the end part. It's about the little things that happen in between. And if you haven't got your eyes open, you miss those little things."
Yeah, like you'll be like a lady cutting flowers and not seeing the most beautiful sunrise you'll ever see.
There you go. Yeah, I couldn't say better than that. But that was an amazing story. So is obviously we're sort of running out of time a little bit. But is there anything that you really wanted to share? Do you know, if you've got somebody that's listening to that is on the cuff of whether they should or shouldn't do it, what would you say to that person right now?
Go do it. If you feel you should or shouldn't do it, you should do it. Because
should or shouldn't do it. Like
you should do it. Yeah, because it's going to get you out of your comfort zone. It's going to make you. It's hard, but it's so rewarding. Every day when you get to that hostel is so rewarding because you meet interesting people, you meet like-minded people. You're going to eat good food. You're going to drink good wine, and you're going to laugh. And if you haven't laughed, you will start laughing. That's a fact. Like it changed my life. It's there's not a morning I don't wake up that I don't think about it. I don't think about, God, I wish I was walking today. I wish I was walking. And like I said, every 3 years I'm going to do it. So hopefully one day I will see you on it. That's a fact. But
you've just been amazing, and it's it's really weird. So we've been emailing and stuff like that, but we haven't actually seen the whites of our eyes together.
It's been a while.
In 2 years. So it's just been an absolute pleasure, and thank you so much for saying yes to doing this. And
I would do anything for you, and you know that you can come sleep on my couch anytime you and Rachel want. You know that. Okay.
That's the first thing he said to me. When you coming to Virginia?
Julie went to. She went to California, and I'm thinking, that's 3,000. I'm better off flying to England to see you guys than going to California. It's quicker. So
she did, yeah. She went to the States, but Well, we will do it. We've got you and Argentina on our list of the 2 main places we definitely want to go. So
okay,
cool. Okay, thank you so much.
Much love, dear. All right,
love you loads.
Buen Camino.
Buen Camino. Take care. Bye bye.